minutes to go. Oh, wait, we're hearing it now. The pick is in. Let's go to the commissioner and see what happens.
With the 5th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback, Alabama.
With a vicious mind, hard cold like Christmas time. Every time I write a rhyme, put it all on the line. No need to hold my tongue. Hold the mic like you hold a gun. Haters, I'm the chosen one. Fakers, I don't roll with none. Don't you ever test my heart. Been a rebel from the start. I ain't got time to play no games. I'm too busy playing my part. Keep my mind on my mission. Living by my premonition. View the world with blurry vision. Stressing in high definition. Not the man I wanna be, but I'll be damn I'm gonna be. In the hand, I'm gonna see the obstacles in front of me. What you know about sacrifice, and life is far from paradise. My palms, they hold a paradise. I stay in clear of parasites. Walking the path unknown to most. The ones that I love, I hold them close. Every rhyme I wrote was dope, no jokes, so folks can overdose. Lyrically, I'm legendary. Yes, I'm very necessary. Plans to see my adversaries buried in the cemetery. Come take a walk through my heart, a stroll through my soul. Being smart from the start, wasn't taught, wasn't told. You could climb through my mind, I'll fly through my eye. And in time you will find what I rhyme is not a lie. Come take a walk through my heart, a stroll through my soul. Being smart from the start, wasn't taught, wasn't told. You could climb through my mind, I'll fly through my eye. And in time you will find what I rhyme is not a lie. You better open the door and let me in. I'm kicking the door off the hinge, the beginning of your end. When you friggin' with my can, oh you wanna be a thief, you're welcome to eternal sleep. This is not considered beef, the beef to me is obsolete. For everything that you stole, put a hole in your soul, burning me internally. But why the hell am I so cold? Two wrongs don't make a right. Damn sure gon' make my night. Better be ready to take that flight and take a step into the light. Now I'm in a bad mood, there will be no remorse. Now I got an attitude and plan to use deadly force. Now it's time for you to bleed, for your jealousy and greed. My mind telling me to kill, just like it's telling me.
Because I know somewhere deep down in my heart, I still love you.
Oh, what is up, Straight Talk Society? This is your host, Trevor, and I am back, finally back, man, after my month of December hiatus, finally back with, unfortunately, the last episode of Beyond the Scoreboard, the post-game show for the Miami Dolphins, your loser, Miami Dolphins. So let me tell you something. If you're looking for somebody that's going to do glass half full, Ricardo, let me know if you can hear me, because I want to make sure everybody can hear my docile tones. Shout out to those of you watching over on Twitter, those of you watching on Facebook, well, that's coming over from Facebook. Hey, man, y'all make sure and hit the like button on your way in. There's 28 of you watching in the building right now. Please make sure and hit that like button. If you came over here to hear a glass half full, if you came over here to hear, oh, it's not that bad, this is not the show for you today. I missed the last two shows because the Texan game, we took my daughter to go see Christmas lights, and last week for the Cleveland game, WWE was in town, so we decided to go to WWE, which I wish WWE was in town tonight. Anything besides me having to watch this atrocity of a football game. So let's get this out of the way. The Dolphins are not a playoff team. If by some miracle the Dolphins would have found a way to sneak into the playoffs to go to their father, Josh Allen, he probably would have dropped 50 on them. So let's get that out of the way first. So we're not a playoff team. Don't need to be in the playoffs. Denver obliterated the Chiefs, even though it was, let's see, a Chiefs team that rested 10 starters. Nevertheless, Denver did what they had to do to get in the playoffs. Denver deserves to go. If anything, the Bengals are the team that deserves to be in the playoffs, not the Dolphins. And I'm a Dolphin fan, but I'm gonna give it to you as real as it is. I got a ton of notes that I took. We don't need to go over the notes because what I saw today was just an atrocity. What I saw today was a team that had a chance to play for something and went down and laid down like a bunch of cheap hookers. That's what they did. They laid down and told Aaron Rodgers, lube us up and just do whatever you want to do. That's exactly what the Dolphins did today. Just complete embarrassment. Shout out to Thinking Black and Ricardo in the building. You didn't want to see the shout out to MD, the political prophet amongst men. Listen, I came back, man. I took the whole month of December off. I did not want to come back and have to do this. But nevertheless, it needs to be done, and I am the man that's going to do it. The Miami Dolphins are a team that is in disarray right now. I want, when I wake up tomorrow, that I hear that Chris Greer is fired. And I'm telling you, the only reason why I'm giving Mike McDaniel a pass is because Mike McDaniel and Tua just work. But I don't think Mike McDaniel is a great coach. I'd give him one more year. Hell, at this point, I'm giving Tua one more year. We're going to get to Tua because you guys know I'm the biggest Tua supporter. I'm the biggest Tua fanboy. I guess I'm a Tua crybaby. But when I see him standing on the sideline in shades, like everything's all right, when your ass should be out on that field leading us, to the promised land. This is another year that you're hurt. And this season is literally playing. I saw this before. What did Agent Smith tell Neo in Matrix Revelations? He said, wait a minute. I saw this before. I've been here before. I'm supposed to say something. I'm supposed to say this. I saw this before. I saw where the Dolphins had to play the Jets to get into the playoffs with their backup quarterback. I was at that game. Me and my brother-in-law was at that game. Terrible game, just like this one against the Jets. Backup quarterback again. Skylar Thompson was in the position. Now Tyler Huntley, bless his heart, but Tyler Huntley is not the answer. He looks so lost out there. He doesn't know if he should be running. He doesn't know. He's so indecisive. He doesn't know what the hell he's supposed to be doing out there. He throws the stupidest interceptions. He's not the answer. He is absolutely not the answer. He had a decent game last week against Cleveland, but so what? It's Cleveland. You have a chance, even if, because Denver throttled Kansas City, and it wasn't even close. They throttled them, so there was no way you were getting in, even if you win. You had the chance for the 5th straight season to have a winning record. At least have some type of pride about yourself. And you go out and you lay an absolute egg. I'm telling you, this has to be the most disappointing Dolphins season I have ever seen. And I have sat through, I've been sitting through them since 1985. This is the most disappointing Miami Dolphin team I had ever seen. At the beginning of the year, I said that the Dolphins were going to go 12-5 and win the AFC. Oh my goodness, do I look like an idiot with that one? I said the Dolphins were going to go 12-5. Here we are. We finished at 8-9. And we got nothing to build on. So let me give out some kudos because the following people are not included in this rant. Calais Campbell, thank you. Thank you so much for your professionalism. Thank you so much for leading that defense. Thank you so much for showing these players what it's like to have some type of toughness. I hope you could latch on to some team that's in the playoffs so you could get a chance at a Super Bowl ring. I really, really, really hope that for you. Thank you so much. I even saw him at the end of the game consoling Anthony Weaver, and letting them know that it was going to be all right. Calais Campbell, stand up, fella. I wish he was on the Dolphins years ago, and we didn't just have him for 1 year. Zach Sealer, fantastic season, big man. 9 sacks. No way in the world the NFL should have snubbed you and you not made the Pro Bowl. It's atrocious that happened. But Zach Sealer, fantastic Tyrell Dobson, hey, great. Hopefully we could do something. You'll be on the team next year. Chop Robinson, keep working on your game. You'll get better. That was a good draft pick. But I kind of think that that's where it ends. Oh, Jonnu Smith, fantastic leading receiver on the team. Just fantastic pickup. A tight end that actually works for the Dolphins, that can actually catch the ball and block and do other things. Fantastic pickup. Anthony Weaver, I wasn't too fond on you in the beginning, but your defense did keep us in a lot of games. Unfortunately, you have to work with such a piss poor offense. You have to work with such a piss poor offense that can't move the ball if they don't have their starting quarterback. So let's get to Chris Grier. Let's get to Chris Grier. Chris Grier has been the GM for the Dolphins since, 2016. Chris Grier, your time is up, buddy. I'm never for anybody losing their job. We're gonna get somebody who lost their job today that I think was terrible. I'm never into somebody losing jobs, but you're a multimillionaire 100 times over. You'll be all right. This is about, if I go to work that I've been working at for 21 years and I don't produce, guess what? They are going to fire me. They are going to fire me. You've been the GM since 2016 and you have done nothing. No playoff wins. We still don't have an offensive line. Nothing. You drafted 60 players in your tenure. Only 21 of them are still on the team. Let me get the exact numbers. Hold up, because I don't want to make nothing up. There's one thing about me. I don't make anything up. Let me get my notes up, because I did take a little bit of notes here. So he drafted 61 players, 22 draft picks are still on the Dolphins, 17 of those draft picks are playing for another team, and 21 of those draft picks are no longer in the NFL. That means to tell me that Chris Grier is a horrendous evaluator of talent. If you pick 60 players and only 20 of them are on your team and 17 of them aren't even in the league, you're a terrible evaluator. Shout out to Eddie Israel in the building. You are a terrible evaluator of talent. Terrible. You're the same guy that picked Charles Harris when we could have had J.J. Watt. That's what I'm saying. Like this, listen, I'm not that guy. I'm not the glass half full guy. Yes, I am still going to love the Dolphins. Come next season, all they got to do is make one change, and I'm going to be right back on the Super Bowl train. But today is not that day. This is a piss poor organization. This organization is shit. This organization has been shit for the longest. This organization needs a whole overhaul from the top to the bottom. You can't get rid of the owner, but he's in his 80s, so you go say what you want to say about that. But Chris Grier, your time is up. You are a terrible GM. And then I heard, I think it was Dudley. I want to say his name is Dudley Do Right or something like that. He said that there was a report today that Chris Grier is going to retire from the GM position, but he's going to stay on as an advisor. Well, pardon my French, but how the fuck are you going to have the guy that's been such a terrible GM now help you pick the new GM? What do you think is going to happen? Like this is, bro, oh my goodness. I said I wasn't going to drink this until we won our first playoff game. That probably will never happen. But I feel like I just want to turn this whole thing up right now and just drink it. This is absolute foolishness. If somebody ruined my franchise, you're telling me that I'm going to keep that guy on as an advisor and then say, hey, by the way, you help me pick the guy that's going to be your replacement. What? What does Stone Cold say? What? That's just absolute, it's absolute insanity. Like, I don't understand. The Dolphins are that's not even a word. They're a terrible ran organization. Just terrible. Yes, Stephen Ross spends money. Yes, Hard Rock Stadium is a fantastic stadium, but they constantly. What they do is they're going to use this. Chris Greer is going to say, see, I got you four straight winning seasons. We haven't done that in forever. 3 straight playoff appearances. We haven't done that in forever. So we haven't won a playoff game in over 20 years. We haven't won a playoff game in over 20 years. And Chris Greer, my biggest problem with you is, you know that you have a quarterback that has only played 1 healthy season. And you came into this season and said that we are okay with Skylar Thompson being our backup. You had Mike White on the roster, but you cut him. You said that you were okay with having Skylar Thompson as our backup because Tua only had 1 good year, 1 healthy year, I'd say. 1 healthy year. So you were okay with going in with Skylar Thompson. Let me ask you a question. What has Skylar Thompson ever done to make you think that he'd be competent enough to hold the ship down? Absolutely nothing. I'll answer. Shout out to Bones in the building. Congratulations to the Bucks. Baker Mayfield. Oh, man, Baker Mayfield. I'd love Baker Mayfield to be my quarterback. Oh, wait a minute. The Dolphins did have a chance to get him, but I digress. What has Skylar Thompson done? Everybody has gone down. Everybody's quarterback, for the most part, has missed some games, and everybody's had a competent enough backup to at least help them win. Tua was out for 4 games. Had we had a competent enough quarterback, we could at least went 500, and we wouldn't have been in this situation right now. And I put that solely on Chris Greer. Hey, you a brother, but listen. Hey, at the end of the day, I spend my money on Dolphins merch. I spend my money to go to Dolphins games. I need to see a winner. I need to see a team that is winning. Am I going to stop liking the Dolphins? Hell no. That's not going to happen. But are they beyond criticism? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And now let's get to, because everybody said, "Oh man, you gonna let Mike McDaniel off the hook?" No, Mike McDaniel's not off the hook. No, Mr. Cool. I'm too cool for school. I'm too cool for school. I have 1 good season, so now I'm beyond reproach now. Mike McDaniel, I'm gonna say, is a fraud. The only reason I don't want Mike McDaniel fired right now is because you still got Tua under contract. And if another coach comes in here, they may not be able to coach Tua the way he does. That's the only reason that I'm saying let's pump the brakes on firing Mike McDaniel. But if Mike McDaniel gets fired today or tomorrow or in the week, he absolutely deserves to be fired. Let me see. I got to get these comments. Penix playoffs, baby. MD Falcons should have started Penix since the first game. Yeah, Penix is the truth. Penix is the truth, man. He's the proof. He's the truth. He has a cannon for an arm. But Mike McDaniel, Mr. San Francisco 49er, Mr. We're going to run the ball down your throat, Mr. I'm smarter than the entire NFL, Mr. I'm smarter than all the defensive coordinators, Mr. My scheme is untouchable, Mr. I'm going to kill you with speed. So why can't you run the ball? Devon Achane had 120 plus yards a day, but those were the most fraudulent 120 yards I ever seen. He got 100 of that. He got 80 of that on 2 carries, 90 of it on 2 carries. He had a 20-yarder and then he had a 69-yarder. So that was like the most fraudulent. And by the way, Mr. Genius Mike McDaniel, 2 times you were on inside the 5-yard line and couldn't get the ball in the end zone. Had to settle for a field goal twice. Then Huntley threw an interception on another one. That's bad coaching. That's bad schemes. That's bad schemes. You mean to tell me just because Tua isn't out there, you can't run a competent enough offense and you're supposed to be this genius? You're supposed to be the new Kyle Shanahan? You're supposed to be the new Sean McVay. You're supposed to be those guys in that vein. And your record with Tua is absolute trash. You cannot win a football game without Tua. And that is a problem because Tua doesn't seem to be able to stay healthy long enough to complete a damn season. Like this. Oh, yeah. So now MD wants Mike McDaniel. Hey, listen, with all those pieces, Mike McDaniel will be a fantastic offensive coordinator. I've always said that. Mike McDaniel is a terrible head coach because he's too laid back. The Dolphins have no discipline. The Dolphins are a finesse team. The Dolphins are a soft-ass football team. They constantly get pushed around. So if you already have the pieces and you have a head coach that's tough and could do some discipline, Mike McDaniel will be your best offensive coordinator in the league. Like I said, I want Mike Vrabel as our head coach, and I'd like Mike McDaniel to stay on as the OC, but I know that'll never happen because he wouldn't take the demotion. His pride wouldn't let him do it. But Mike Vrabel would whip this team into shape, get some damn toughness about the team, man. Like that's the thing that bothers me the most about the Dolphins. They are so soft. They are so weak. Like they're just a soft ass football team. I saw today Baker Mayfield slid late. Absolutely was his fault. And a defender hit him a little late. Baker Mayfield got up, got in the guy's face, pushed him, and they almost started a brawl. You know what? You call that what you want, but I call that a tough son of a bitch. I call that like a quarterback that I'd love. Man, I'd get behind that guy and just rally. I'd run through a wall for that guy. Just show some toughness, man. This team, they don't once they get in a little bit of adversity, then they just completely just fold up. They fold up like a cheap suit. So Mike McDaniel, I will say your offense last year was very exciting. We dropped 70 on Denver, all that good stuff, blah, 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 blah. But when it came down to it, you couldn't beat a good team. We beat one good team, which was the Cowboys. Come to find out the Cowboys are ass. They're not good. And you can't beat a cold weather team. And the glaring issue is you can't win a meaningful game without Tua. So now that brings me to the last person, Tua. I have defended Tua more than anybody on this app, man. I swear. I am the biggest Tua fan. I remember when he came back for the Arizona game, I literally was screaming, "Save us, Tua," because I had that much stock in him. I'm the guy that wanted the Dolphins to tank the season for him. But Tua has shown me he can't stay healthy. And in the words of Zay, the best ability is availability. And he's just not there. When I see him on the sideline, just laughing and giggling like everything's all right. No, you're supposed to be in the game. I understand he has a hip injury right now. I understand that, which is scary enough as it is, because now they're saying that it's not functioning the way that they'd like to see it function, which scares the hell out of me because it's the same hip that he hurt in Alabama. So now we may be going into the 2025 season with a gimp as a quarterback to try to run this type of offense. Hindsight is 2020. When they gave him the contract, I was like, hey, it's not my money. And I still say that. It's not my money. You do whatever you want to do. But Tua absolutely didn't deserve that contract extension. They should have forced him to play on his fifth-year option. Could have spent the money elsewhere. Right now, we got this big-ass albatross of his contract over us, and you can't get out of that contract until after next season. So as far as Tua being the quarterback for the Dolphins, he is going to be the quarterback. When Tua is upright, Tua is a great quarterback. When Tua is upright, I'd say he's top 10 in the NFL. The problem is Tua can never stay upright because the Dolphins have yet to field us a great offensive line. You had more than enough chances to do it, and Tua makes some of the most dumbest bonehead decisions I've ever seen. Most of his concussions were his own fault. Him diving headfirst into defenders. Let me ask you a question. Why does somebody like Josh Allen, who should be the MVP of the NFL, Lamar Jackson, who should be Offensive Player of the Year, why do those guys slide and Tua doesn't? Yeah, so Tua's concussion injuries are 90% his fault. But it's getting to a point now where he can't stay healthy. I hate to say the injury prone thing just because, how could one be injury prone? Shit happens. I'm getting old, so when I'm at work, certain things happen. Things don't feel the way that they used to feel. So I'm like, oh man, am I injury prone? How does one become injury prone? But when you're having injuries, that's your fault, where you could have slid. Me and MD had a big argument, I want to say at the beginning of the season, or was it last season, when there was like a bunch of Achilles injuries in the NFL. And MD was telling me that is about conditioning, versus, and I'm like, no, it's because of the turf. So it was last season. But you notice you don't see all those Achilles injuries this season. So MD was probably right. It was about conditioning. This is what I'm saying, man. The Dolphins need an entire haul. I'd trade Tyreek Hill right now to get whatever we can get for Tyreek Hill. See if somebody will give us a first round pick for Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill brought a lot of excitement to this team. Tyreek Hill, we'll never forget what you did. But right now, the Dolphins aren't in a position to win now. So a player like Tyreek Hill needs to go to a team that can win now while he's still in the league and while we can get top dollar from him. Tyreek Hill obviously was injured this year. Because there's just certain ways he played where he wouldn't go after balls like he did. He would, it just didn't seem right. It just didn't seem right. So Tyreek Hill obviously was injured. I would try to trade Tyreek Hill and get whatever we can. We got to find some way. Teron Armstead is got to be it. Let me tell you something. I like I said, I've been working at my company for 21 years, and we've had a guy that worked there longer than me. And when they knew that it was time, management got together and was like, hey, we're going to send you off. We're going to give you a ticker take parade, but we're going to send you off into the sunset because it's time to go. And that's what they need to do with Teron Armstead. He was out there, was chewing gum today, but it's just not it anymore. It's not it. It's not working. He's always hurt. Your best ability is availability. Let me see what MD. I keep telling people when you have a lefty as QB, you have to restructure the left tackle so you can make sure you have a draft capital and free agency money for equality, right? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, man. I think this team is this team is majorly flawed. This team is, and you know what? We may have needed this season. Mike McDaniel's first year, we went 9-8. We limped into the playoffs with Skylar Thompson. He almost went to Buffalo and won. Then last year we had fool's goal, 11-6. High-powered offense, leading the league in everything offensively. But then got obliterated in the playoffs. This year may be that year that we needed to show us like, hey, you aren't as good as you thought you were. I think that we may have needed that. This team is just not. This team is not good. This team is not good. This team could have went. I joke that if Miami got a chance to play Pittsburgh, we'd smash them. No, we wouldn't. And I don't even think Pittsburgh is good. But Pittsburgh's defense is fantastic, and they'd obliterate this team without Tua. So Tua was saying, "Oh, if we make it to the playoffs, I'm definitely going to play." Well, if you got that mentality, why the hell didn't you play this game when we needed you to get into the damn playoffs? Tyler Huntley is not good. I hate to try to bag on the man, but he's not good. He's indecisive. He obviously could run, but he's afraid to run, or he's indecisive when it comes to running. It's just not good. It's just not good. I'm watching this game today, and it was the Jets. 2008, after the Dolphins came off of the worst season ever, the 2007 season, it all came down to the Dolphins versus the Jets. Dolphins win, they're in the playoffs. And the lasting memory of that game was Philip Merling. Hey, Philip Merling, the guy that we drafted over Calais Campbell. So remember that name. Calais Campbell's still in the NFL. Philip Merling, I don't know where the hell he is, but I digress. Philip Merling intercepted a Brett Favre pass to send the Dolphins to the playoffs. So you have the chance to send old man Aaron Rodgers out to just kick him while he's down, throw dirt on his, just kick him in his ass, kick him out the door. And you let this man have statistically one of his best games of the season. It's funny, his 2 best games of the season came against the Dolphins. So go figure. But Aaron Rodgers was out there literally doing whatever the hell he wanted to do. They were literally doing backwards passes. And the commentators were even saying like, oh man, they're out there playing. They're out there having fun. What? Speaking of backwards passes, the Dolphins' inability to run. I don't think any of Tyler Huntley's completions were over 5 yards today. Everything was behind the line of scrimmage. There was when A-Chain broke for that 69-yard run, they were inside the 5-yard line. They handed the ball off to A-Chain. He lost like 3 or 4 yards, and then they did 2 screen passes. This team's inability to run the football is what destroyed them this year. Oh, by the way, Mike McDaniel is supposed to be a guru when it comes to running the football because he's from the Kyle Shanahan tree. And that's all the 49ers do is run the football. Let me tell you something, Mike McDaniel. If you survive and you're the Dolphins coach next year, how about just trying to beat the Miami Dolphins and not the goddamn San Francisco 49ers? Just beat the Miami Dolphins. How about that? How about that? Just beat the Dolphins. Stop trying to beat somebody else. Beat the damn Dolphins. You don't have the horses that the 49ers have. You can't, your team is not built like the 49ers. So just be the Dolphins. How about that? Can we do that? Can we just beat the Miami Dolphins? Whatever the hell that is. I don't even know what the Dolphins are because the Dolphins don't have any identity. The Dolphins do not have any identity. Well, yeah, they do have an identity. They have the identity of their head coach, which is a laid-back stoner who doesn't give a damn about anything. And I'm not talking about him as a person, so don't get this twisted. He seems like a great person. His story about not drinking anymore and all that, fantastic. He seems like a great person, man. I'd love to go out and chill with him. But we're talking about football right now. He is not suited for the job. He is not qualified for the job that he currently has. And that's just the truth of the matter. He's not. He is not qualified for the job that he currently has. There are 50 of you guys watching right now between Twitter and YouTube. Y'all, please make sure and hit that like button. Unfortunately, this is the last Beyond the Scoreboard for the season. So what I will do, though, I will come back once everything's said and done. Shout out to Brendan in the building. I will come back when everything's said and done and just kind of go over the Dolphins season and compare it to last year. We will do that at some point coming up. But this got to be one of the most disappointing seasons ever. Like, I mean, this season is just absolutely terrible. Nothing redeeming. You know, again, another season where Jalen Phillips is hurt. Bradley Chubb didn't even take the field this season. Yeah, just terrible. Just terrible. Jordan Poyer, just terrible. You know, Jalen Ramsey did his thing, but you know, Javon Holland, nothing this season. Nothing. He you know, his time's coming up now for a new contract. They may not even let him, you know, they may not even keep him. And I always thought Javon Holland should have been a cornerstone of this defense. I always thought you know, Christian Wilkins should be a cornerstone of the defense too, but hell, what do I know? They let him go too. It's just, oh my goodness, man. I just, the frustration of being a Dolphin fan is crazy. It is crazy because you see what this team could be. We always hope. The Detroit Lions, we could say consensusly, is probably one of the worst ran franchises ever in the history of the NFL. But now look at the Detroit Lions. I got the Detroit Lions going to the Super Bowl. So I always like to hold on hope and be like, oh man, I don't think Jared Goff is that much better than Tua. If I had to, if Tua, I think if Tua stayed upright and if Jared Goff stayed upright with the same talent, their stats would be comparable. Their stats would be comparable. But the problem is Jared Goff has a head coach that imprints his identity into the team, whereas the Dolphins don't know who the hell they are. Everybody that talks about the Dolphins that leave the Dolphins, the first thing they say is the Dolphins are soft. This is the first thing they say. They're soft. And that's the problem. Lions versus Bills, your Super Bowl. Hey, listen, I'm hoping that the Bills make the Super Bowl just because maybe if they win, then we'll get some, they'll finally break the curse on the Dolphins, because I feel like the Dolphins are cursed at this point. They got to be cursed. They got to be. I don't know if Hard Rock Stadium is built on a reservation or something. I don't know, but it's crazy. This team can't be this snake bitten. They can't be this snake bitten. Just it's absolutely crazy. But I think I've gone on enough. I think let's go over the stats of these games. Let's go over the stats, and then we'll look around the league. And then we'll get out of here, man. But I will listen. We are back. This is 2025. I did forget to say, man. Hopefully, everybody that's watching had an enjoyable New Year. You had a good holiday season, and you spent the time wisely. And I do want to say this: there was a sister that started coming to this show, and she'd always tell me, "Oh man, you have such a voice for sportscasting. Keep doing what you're doing." Over the holiday, she did pass. So my condolences go out to her family and things like that. It's just crazy that she would come over here and encourage me that way and then not be around much longer. But my condolences to that sister. But let Thinking Black says we got your back. We'll take the title and lift your curse. I just want one. Hey, Thinking Black, I always say this. At least you've seen your team always competitive. I'm older than you, so you've seen your team in the Super Bowl. I know you've seen your team in the Super Bowl. I've never seen the Dolphins in the Super Bowl because the Dolphins were in the Super Bowl in 84. I didn't start watching until 85, 86. So I've never seen my team in the Super Bowl. The 72 Dolphins, I don't care about that. 72 Dolphins is not my thing. I'm 44. That's over 50 years ago. So that's not my thing. I got no ties to the 72 Dolphins. I'm talking about the now Dolphins, the Dolphins of my lifetime, the Dolphins that I've seen. Just be good. Can I get an AFC title game? We did make it in 92, but got obliterated by Buffalo. Can we get an AFC title game as with me being a 20-year-old, a 30 or 40-year-old? Come on, man. Oh my goodness, man. Take your blood pressure pills, bro. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate that $20 super chat. Hey, listen, man, we do offer channel memberships over here for $1.99 if you want to support the channel. It's literally channel the $1.99. Shout out to Big Money Mike in the building. The curse of the G-men comment strikes again. Hey, man, listen. Hey, we got a lot in store for you this season, man. Man Talk Monday returns tomorrow. And let me just tell you something, Man Talk Monday, we are coming back with a bang. Everything's changed. We changed all the statics. We even got a new intro video. It's going to be straight barbershop conversation. If you don't like barbershop conversation, hey, still come by and check it out tomorrow anyway, because you're going to learn something. It is going to be a abbreviated show because Raw does debut on Netflix tomorrow night. And I do want to do a live watch party to the Netflix show. The Raw Netflix show. So Man Talk Monday will be an abbreviated show tomorrow, but nevertheless, oh man, Brent even joined the membership, man. I appreciate that. But Man Talk Monday will definitely be tomorrow at 6, and then we'll do the Raw watch along. Tape Fist Politics will be back January 21st after the inauguration. So they got a whole laundry list of things to talk about because Trump will be inaugurated into office. So let's hold our breath to see what's going on with that. This Wednesday, January 8th, we will be doing the year-end awards for Wrestling with Reality. We will be doing our 2024 year-end rewards. So awards, my bad. So just make sure and tune into that. So let's get into these. Let's get into these stats. Is whatever the hell this was. Tyler Huntley, 25 of 41, 227 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 bonehead interceptions. I mean, 2 of the worst interceptions you're ever going to see. Tyler Huntley shouldn't be throwing the ball 41 times. I don't give a damn what you're saying. Tyler Huntley should not be throwing the ball 41 times, especially when you have a number like this. Devon Achane, 11 carries, 121 yards. Like I say, 80 of those came off of 2 carries. Tyler Huntley, 3 carries, 16 yards. Jalen Waddle, 1 for 6. Jalen Wright, 6 for -4. Jeff Wilson, 2 for -4. So that's 11, 14, 15, 17, 23 carries from the running back position between 5 guys. 23 carries from the running back position between 5 guys. And you wonder why I'm so pissed off. When you have a backup journeyman quarterback that's not that good throwing the ball 41 times, when for the majority of the game, you were only down by 12 points. And well, I mean, with Tua being down 12 points, you could come back from that. With this squad, being down 12 points is like a insurmountable odds. It's crazy. So I probably get it. Let's go to receiving. Jonnu Smith, 9 receptions, 55 yards, and a touchdown. Jonnu Smith, just fantastic. If I'd say that he was MVP of the offense this year, him or Achane. And I'm not a fan of Achane's running. I don't think Achane is a great running back, but to me, Achane is Reggie Bush. So Achane is legit Reggie Bush. He could catch it out of the backfield. You know, he could be receiver, things like that. He gets you those type of yards. But to run between the tackles, he's not going to be able to do that. We got to find some way to solidify that. I don't expect to see Raheem Mostert on this team next year. Last year, after having 20 plus touchdowns and breaking the Dolphins record, he absolutely nothing from him this year. Nothing. I don't expect to see him on the team this next season. Malik Washington had a fantastic 69-yard. Malik Washington had a 69-yard kickoff return. They got the ball inside the 20 and still couldn't score. I think that was another interception. Malik Washington, four receptions, 49 yards. Jalen Waddle, terrible season this year. 4 receptions, 44 yards. River Craycraft, 4 for 38. Ingold, 2 for 21. Tyreek Hill, 2 for 20. Tyreek Hill was less than 100 yards away from having a 1,000-yard season, and he did not get it. After coming off of 2 1,700-yard seasons, his first 2 seasons with the Dolphins. So this has got to be the greatest season-to-season drop in yards ever. But I think Tyreek Hill was playing injured this year. I think something's going on that we didn't know about, and not having Tua for 4 games. Not having Tua for 6 games. Tua was out for 6 games. 6 games Tua was out for. But we gave him $55 million. $55 million. And I know it's the position. The quarterbacks are going to be making all this money. But at some point, if you give Josh Allen $55 million, if you give Pat Mahomes $55 million, Joe Burrow definitely $55 million, I'm okay with it. But you're giving a guy like Trevor Lawrence and Tua, guys that haven't proved anything. You're just paying them just because the market says that. No, make them play on the contract that they signed. You don't have to extend them. I mean, I know this is a terrible year for quarterbacks coming up in the draft, but they could have spent that money elsewhere, like maybe trying to keep Christian Wilkins, keeping Robert Hunt. You could have keeping Andrew Van Ginkel. Oh my God, Andrew Van Ginkel is going to Andrew Van Ginkel is in the playoffs and he's going to the Pro Bowl. And all he wanted was an extra $1 million or $2 million. Keep those guys. So Chris Greer's got to go. I got to go back to Chris Greer. Again, let's see. Tyrell Dodson had an interception. Aaron Rodgers' first pass of the game was an interception. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's gonna be that type of game today. But nah, he just was like, no, just hold my beer. I messed up on that one. Zach Sealer had a sack and a half, him and Agba. So Zach Sealer was snubbed by the Pro Bowl, but Aaron Rodgers, 23 of 36, 273, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. The Jets had 12, 16, 20, 21, 22. The Jets had 22 yards rushing on. No, sorry, that's carries. My bad. They had a little over 100-yard rushing on 22 carries by 5 different people. So you basically kind of held them in check, but Aaron Rodgers just went off on you. And you kept giving them a short field. You just kept giving them a short field. Devontae Adams, 6 catches, 88 yards. Alan Lazard, 3 catches, 71 yards. Both had a touchdown. Just couldn't stop him. And Sauce Gardner wasn't even playing. So I don't understand why Tyreek Hill wasn't going off. Peace on Manny B in the building. Happy New Year. If they didn't pay, they'd end up with the Dak situation. You know what, Mike? So what? You don't pay. I mean, and I hate to have to keep bringing this back to work, but I do because I have a lot of guys that work for me. When guys come to me and tell me that they want raises, I have reports on all my guys. So I could pull up all their numbers and show them where they are. So I'm happy to give them a raise, but if they're below what they're supposed to hit, then I'm like, you know what? You're not getting any raise. And this is why. Tua was healthy for 1 season. So he literally got $55 million for last year. That's literally why he got a $55 million contract, because of last year. What happened to the year before where they went 9-8 and you had the chance to lead your team, but you got hurt again? What happened to that? And we had to take Skylar Thompson's sorry ass into the playoffs. What happened to that? He literally got all this money for last year for a 11-6 record, which he didn't beat any good team except for the Cowboys, which again, that's subjective when you want to say the Cowboys were any good. But let's think about it. Let's talk. And I know, hey, listen, it could never change because that's what they say. The market bears it. That's what the market bears. So it is what it is. Tyreek Hill needs to take as much needs to back. Yeah, Tyreek Hill needs to. I want to say what they say. Tyreek Hill has more kids. Tyreek Hill has more kids than he had touchdowns this season. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Angry Trevor is goated. Chris Greer has some positives in this time. No, man. We're not going to do that. No. Chris Greer. Hey, Manny, you just came in. So let me read it again for you because you just came in the building. So let me read it for you. Chris Greer's been the GM since 2016. He had 61 total picks. 61 picks. 22 of those guys are still on the Dolphins. 17 of those guys are playing for other teams. And 21 of them are not even in the NFL, which means he's a terrible talent evaluator. If 21 players that you picked aren't even in the NFL anymore, that means that your talent evaluation is ass. Is complete ass. Let's look at the year. Okay, so Tua's year, you pick Tua, then you pick Austin Jackson, which Austin Jackson finally came around, but then you pick Noah Igbenogany. Igbenogany doesn't even play for the Dolphins anymore. I don't even know where the hell he is, but that was just 2020. That was 4 years. That was 4 seasons ago. So that's not good. It's not good. Chop Robinson, I think, is going to be a good player. I think Jalen Wright could be a good situational back. I would probably like to see them give him more carries next year because I don't expect Mostert to be on this team next year. But let Angry Trevor be on point there. Yeah, I don't listen. I think Chris Greer has failed. Chris Greer has completely failed. Mike, you tell him, Mike, if 21 of the 61 players that you picked aren't even in the NFL. I see if you picked 60 players, 21 of them just didn't stay because of contractual issues or you traded them or something. They're still in the NFL though. 21 of those guys aren't even in the NFL. So that basically tells me that Chris Grier knocked on my front door and said, hey, you want to come play for the Dolphins? Those are the type of guys that he drafted. Guys that should not be on NFL rosters, which is obvious because they're not on the NFL roster. 17 of those guys are on other teams. This is what I'm telling you. This guy is a terrible talent evaluator. Terrible. It's crazy. It's crazy. This is a dude that picked. Okay, but what's his win-loss record? His win-loss record is not good either. In what? So 2016, we're 2024. So in 8 years, if he's 500, I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if it's 500 because we had some real piss poor seasons in there. Some really, really piss poor seasons. You know, it's not the and Manny, the O-line is still a glaring issue. That's what nobody wants to ever talk about is the Dolphins offensive line is still terrible. Still terrible. I'm watching teams with backup running backs still run for 100 yards a game because their O-line is great. Their O-line could open up holes. The Dolphins can't run between the tackles, but it would help a little bit if you could run block a little bit. It's just not good. It's not good enough. Not good enough to win. It's a good thing had we snuck into the playoffs, we would have went to Buffalo and Josh Allen, our surrogate father, would have hung 60 on us. And he probably wouldn't even played the fourth quarter. He would have hung 60 on this team. It's crazy. This team is ass, man. The Dolphins are ass. And I love the Dolphins. Listen, I'm telling you, when I had time to think about this and I come back next season when we're doing the preseason show, then I'm going to tell you we're going to win 11 games and we're going to make it to the Super because I'll be right back crazy Dolphin fan. But right now, as I have had the time to watch this season play out, I can't do that. I cannot sit there and be optimistic about this season that the Dolphins just put on us. I just can't be optimistic about it. If Tua stayed healthy and we still went 8-9, then at least I'll be like, you know what, Tua regressed a little bit so we could work on it. Honestly, I don't even know if he's really any good. He hadn't played long enough. I think he's good, but I'm basing that off of last year. I think he's really good, but I'm literally basing that off of last year. And the fact that whenever he did play this year, for the most part, we scored 30 points. So that's what I'm basing it off of, but I don't know if he's any good. I know who's not a good head coach is not Mike McDaniel because Mike McDaniel, so Tua could win without Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel can't win without Tua. So if I got to pick one or the other, then I'm always riding with the quarterback. But again, and it may seem like I'm talking double tongue, but I'm not. I looked up the Dolphins. Oh, look at that. 75-72 under Chris Grier. Just 3 games over 500. So you're talking about 147 games. 147 games. He's 3 games over 500. That's terrible. That's terrible because I bet you if we go look up Mike Tomlin's record, I always like to say former Dolphins head coach Mike Tomlin because they told him he was too hip hop. In other words, I mean he was too black. He should have been our coach here, but I'll get off of it eventually. But every time I see him constantly having winning records and constantly taking average ass quarterbacks into the playoffs, I kind of got to get in my feelings a little bit. So it is what it is. But listen, Chris Grier has completely failed here. His playoff record is 0-4. Yeah, 0-4 in the play. Just terrible. Just terrible. Let me see. Don't look up. Don't look up don't look at Mike Tomlin into gym before. So if we upgraded that, listen, Mike Tomlin is a fantastic head coach. The Steelers have his identity, just mean, tough. They'll beat you up. I never forget one time the Steelers played the Titans and they interviewed Mike Tomlin on the sideline and they said, "Hey, who's going to win this game tonight?" And Mike Tomlin said, "The team that's more violent." I had to go clean myself up after that. I was just like, oh my goodness, bro. Like that. Wow. Whew. That made me just feel. Look at that. Mike Tomlin's 183 and 107. Come on, man. Like 70 games over 500. That's crazy. That's crazy. This guy, like, that's crazy. The Dolphins have no identity. The Dolphins need to be, honestly, if I'm okay with them keeping Mike McDaniel one more year, Chris Greer needs to go. But if you bring in a new GM, he's going to want to bring in a new coach. So I get it. I'm doing whatever I can to get Mike Vrabel here. I'm doing whatever I can to get Mike Vrabel. Now, speaking of Mike Vrabel, before we go into the scores around the league and get out of here, Mike Vrabel might be heading to New England as the head coach. So it came out today that the Patriots fired Gerard Mayo, which I think is absolutely terrible. They set Gerard Mayo up for failure. I'm not a Patriot fan. I hate the Patriots. I wish nothing but ill will to the Patriots. Nothing but ill will to the Patriots. But the fact that you have this coach come in on a lame duck season with that piss poor team and you fire him, I'm sticking, because it sounds better. I'm sticking by that they fired him because he won today. Because they were like, hey, we had the number one pick. All you had to do was lose the game, and they ended up winning. So now they lost the number one pick, and now I think they're number 4. So they dropped three spots. So that is a fireable offense, but it's terrible that you would saddle him with that team, and which you started Jacoby Brissett at the beginning of the season. And you know, Drake May didn't come on until the end. Drake May looks like he may be worth something. So you may have a quarterback, you know, a couple of good draft classes, you'll have the Patriots back to being respectable, and they fired a guy, which means to me is like their eyes are set on Mike Vrabel. Like that just tells me that they're set on Vrabel. If I was Stephen Ross, I'd try to get Vrabel for the Dolphins because the Dolphins need an identity. The Dolphins have an identity crisis. The Dolphins want to be the San Francisco 49ers, but they're not the 49ers because they're not tough. The Dolphins need to be the Miami Dolphins. They need to go back to smash mouth football. They need to go back to playing tough football, but in the trenches. And I think Mike Vrabel might be the man to do that. Don't go get any coach from college. Go get Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel should be the head coach of the Dolphins. And that's what I'm saying. I think he won because he knew they were going to fire him. No, man. I think they fired him because he won. He said, hey, listen, man, Mike, if you had the chance to get the number one pick, all you had to do was lose. You know, I'm going to pull back. I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit. I mean, it is what it is. Bad O-line is inexcusable. Like, I agree with you on Chris Greer sucks, but it isn't on the GM. No, I'd say he's a C-, which is not good. Yeah, well, you're saying he's a C-. You know, C- is not even average. That's less than average. But I say Chris Greer is a terrible GM. I just say Chris Greer is a terrible GM. Like, you know, when we ask you what you're going to do at the backup quarterback position and you tell us Skylar Thompson is the answer, then you're not good at your job. You're not good at your job. You're not good at what you do. And that's just the bottom line. So let's get into these scores around the league. Oh man. Hey, and listen, there were some fantastic games in the 1:00 spot, which was funny because I told the fellas, I'm like, hey, these games are so good in the first half of this game of the day. I said, don't worry, the Dolphins and Jets are coming up. We're gonna grind it down to a screeching halt for you. So yesterday, the Ravens 35-10 winners. this may have cemented Lamar Jackson as the MVP. I think Josh Allen should win it. But you know, if Lamar Jackson wins it, I won't be disappointed. I just say Lamar Jackson do it in the playoffs. That's all I'm gonna say. And I know that's probably pissing Mike off right now, but do it in the playoffs. The Bengals 19-17 winners over the Steelers. I hate the fact that the Bengals aren't in the playoffs because that's probably the scariest team in the NFL right now. The Panthers and the Falcons. My God, was that a good game? Watching that on Red Zone. Bryce Young. I don't know if Bryce Young's any good, but today he sure played his ass off. Bryce Young versus Michael Penix. What a fantastic game. Oh, God, that was awesome. The Texans 23-14 winners over the Titans. The Giants lost to the Eagles, man. So when it comes to this Eagles game, I am mad that they didn't let Saquon Barkley break the record. Because if the Eagles don't win the Super Bowl this year, this is going to haunt Saquon Barkley forever, that not only could I have had the NFL rushing record, but I also could have done it against my former team. This is going to haunt him forever. So he could say whatever he wants. I shared a video in one of my groups where he was saying, let the young guys eat, let the young guys eat. He's just saying that to save face. Because if they don't win the Super Bowl, he's going to be sitting there like, damn it, man, I wish I would have won this, broke this record. The Colts 26-23 winners over the Jags. Joe Flacco continues to win. Look at that. Joe Flacco, serviceable backup. Joe Flacco could have won us 2 to 3 games. The Commanders 23-19 winners over the Cowboys. The Bears pulled it out at the end against the Packers. I'm pissed off at the Bears because Caleb Williams was 14 yards short of me winning $300 in a parlay. So I'm pissed off about that. The Buccaneers, listen, man, Baker Mayfield. Hey, listen, I call him Baker Football Mayfield because that's what that guy is. He's a damn football player. Baker Mayfield. Hey, the Bucs are going to make some noise in the playoffs. They may play. I got to look at the seeding and see how it is. They won against the Saints. It was a tight one at first, though, because the Saints wouldn't go away, but the Bucs pulled away at the end. The Patriots 23-16 winners over the Bills, cost Gerard Mayo his job. Chargers 34-20 winners over the Raiders. The Cardinals destroy the 49ers 47-24. The Broncos obliterate the Chiefs second string 38-0. Listen, the Dolphins needed the Broncos to lose. The Broncos weren't losing that game because the Chiefs had already said they were going to sit everybody out. So the Seahawks 30-25 winners over the Rams. The Miami Dolphins lose 32-20 to the lowly New England Jets. And right now, which will probably be the game of the century, I got to get on it. The Vikings versus the Lions is tied up at 0 with 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Let me look at the NFL. Let me look at the playoff picture real quick. And then we'll get out of here. All right, let's look at this bracket. Y'all make sure and hit that like button. It's not what I'm asking you. All right, so you got. All right, so the playoff brackets for the AFC, Kansas City is number 1 seed. They'll have the bye. Buffalo's number 2. Baltimore's number 3. Houston is 4. The Chargers move into 5. Pittsburgh at 6. The Broncos at 7. So you're going to get the Broncos versus the Bills. That should be a good, hard, tough fought game. Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Oh, my God. Those two are going to off each other to try to move on. In the 4-5 matchup, which is the most favorable for the Chargers, I think the Chargers are going to beat the Texans in that 4-5 matchup. So the NFC is of such. Detroit or Minnesota, the winner of tonight will be number 1, and they'll get the bye. The Eagles are number 2. Tampa Bay slid into the number 3 spot. The Rams fall to number 4. So depending on who loses tonight's game, they'll then become the number 5 seed to play the Rams. They'll go to the Rams. So it's crazy. A 14-win team is going to have to go on the road in the wild card. That's crazy. The Commanders are at 6. They'll have to play where is it? The Commanders will have to play Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay should win that. Green Bay goes to Philadelphia. That might be a hard one. Oh my goodness, that might be a hard one, man. So yeah, that's the schedule. There we have it. Let me see. Go Eagles, go. Not I heard Trey Lance. No, Trey Lance is ass, Mike. Trey Lance is ass. Bucks versus Commanders Sunday night. They just released the schedule. All right, so that is the playoff schedule, man. That's how it is. And like I said, once I calmed, and listen, I'm not upset. I'm not upset. This is just me. This is me when I'm real passionate. You should hear me talk about wrestling. It's even crazier. You should hear me talk about wrestling. Speaking of talking about wrestling, this Wednesday we'll be doing our end of the year 2024 awards for Wrestling with Reality. Be sure to tune into that. But I just love the Dolphins, man. And you know, when you love something so much and they constantly disappoint you, you know, you get a little upset. And to newer fans like Manny B, those are younger guys. So like Manny B probably came in when the Dolphins were semi-decent. Whereas with me, I grew up when the Dolphins were perennial playoff teams. Every year they'd win 10 games every year. And, you know, they'd always win at least a playoff game. Then you had that stretch where they just were complete ass. And now you end up where we are now. You haven't won a playoff game in 20 years. So, and then you have your fan base like me going crazy. 34, you like 20. Wait, Manny says 30. Wait, Manny, you 20. Manny, I'm 44. I appreciate if you think I'm 34, but I'm 44. I'm closer to 50 than anything. Yeah, I'm 44. But yeah, man, I just love the Dolphins, man. And I think we could be so much better than what we are, but terrible leadership. Stephen Ross, I can't even say is a bad owner. I think Stephen Ross is a better owner than Wayne Huizenga ever was. Because Wayne Huizenga, to me, I don't ever think Wayne Huizenga never did what Stephen Ross. Whatever they asked for Stephen Ross, any check that they asked him to sign, give Mike Williams $50 million, bring in Brandon Marshall, do this, do that, bring in anybody. He's going to do it. You know, Wayne Huizenga probably would have balked at it. Like I say, Hard Rock Stadium is beautiful. The club level is immaculate. My goodness, you know, me and my wife were there a few weeks ago, just immaculate. But you know, now it's down to the product on the field, man. The team has to be better. The team has to be better. I don't know if we need an overhaul. We need to change our uniforms, do a throwback season, wear all black uniforms, have some big time preacher come in and run a revival on Hard Rock Stadium's ground to try to do an exorcism or something. We need to do something. They need to do something, man, because this team this is not it, man. It's not it. It's not it. But guess what? It's still go Dolphins and F everybody else. And I'm still going to be riding high for the Dolphins. Hey, here's a year I'm not going to be able to pop this open because I said I was going to pop this open when we won our first playoff game. So here's going to be another year that's going to sit on my shelf. Maybe next year. So, hey, man, appreciate all you guys for coming through. Those of you over on Twitter, if you like what you heard, try coming on over to YouTube. Check out the channel on YouTube. We talk about everything. Tomorrow night is the flagship show of the Straight Talk Society. Man Talk Monday is back. We're going to rebrand it as the Barbershop because it's going to be straight barbershop talk. Straight barbershop talk. It is a place where men could come and just get their shit off. It is how it is. Tomorrow will be a kind of a condensed show because, like I said, Monday Night Raw will be debuting its Raw on Netflix show, and I do want to do a live watch party to that, so I'll definitely be doing that tomorrow night. So, hey, man, he said it's gonna be an heirloom. Hey, he was just trying to say, man, my daughter gonna crack it open when she old enough to drink. Oh boy. Oh my goodness, bro. It is what it is, man. But like I said, we'll definitely come back in a few weeks once everything settles before the Super Bowl, and we'll kind of do a wrap up of the Dolphins season, do the stats and things like that. you know, and see how everything, see how much of a drop off from last year. Like I said, Tyreek Hill has to be the biggest drop off ever in the NFL, from a 1,700 yard receiver last year to a 900 plus yard receiver this year, playing the majority of the games. He missed one game last year. I don't think he missed any games this year. If he did, he may have missed one. But this has to be the biggest drop off ever. But nevertheless, man, we will be back with you tomorrow night for Man Talk Monday. Stay tuned to the channel. Check out my shorts. We will be dropping a lot more shorts now that you can do the 3 minutes. I was waiting for that. Now you can do 3-minute shorts. I will be dropping shorts like crazy, especially on my wrestling content and the Dolphins content, man, because those seem to be the most popular when it comes to the shorts. But, man, with all that being said, enjoy the rest of your night. I officially start back work tomorrow, you know, off of vacation. So appreciate everybody for coming through. Like I said, man, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. If you're over here from Twitter, consider coming on over to YouTube and checking out the channel. We got something for everybody. We do a banging ass politics show on Tuesdays. It'll be back January 21st. We do a wrestling show on Wednesday. Flagship show of the channel, Man Talk Monday, is on Mondays. You know, we even have something for the ladies. We Pour Your Heart Out. We will start doing movie reviews real soon, me and my wife. So hey, just tune in, man. Check out Straight Talk Society. We got a lot in store this year. Thank you to everybody who came through. I will see you guys on the other side. Hey, enjoy this video. Now, you know what? To hell with this video. I'm out of here. I was going to play the Dolphins Beyond the Scoreboard video again, but to hell with that. To hell with that season. I'm going to have to change it because they're so ass. So next season, we'll have a new video because this season was nothing but complete ass. I will see you guys on the other side.
Come take a walk through my heart, a stroll through my soul. Been smart from the start, wasn't taught, wasn't told. You could climb through my mind, or fly through my eye. And in time you will find what I rhyme is not a lie. Come take a walk through my heart, a stroll through my soul. Been smart from the start, wasn't taught, wasn't told. You could climb through my mind, or fly through my eye. And in time you will find